Hi. Hi. Alright, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook, and today I am so very excited because as this video is out, that means Speak Now, Taylor's version, is officially out in the world. I have been a Swiftie for as long as I can remember. I have been present for every single one of Taylor Swift's eras. I am from Texas, so you know, back in the day, country Taylor Swift, I was all over that. I felt like I got to grow up with her, watch her go through all these different eras and styles of music and just watch her bloom and grow, and she means the world to me. I listen to her music every single day at some point, and every one of her albums, you know, I just love. But I have to say, Speak Now really does hold a special place in my heart. Back to December is my absolute favorite Taylor Swift song of all time, and just so many songs from this album, I just remember listening to them on repeat in junior high, just like so vividly. Haunted, oh my god, Mine, The Story of Us, even like Mean, she had her own little moment, like Enchanted, like Sparks Fly. I can just go on and on. Like, this album is just so Taylor, and also I just feel like it's so pivotal because it was her last really kind of like country album before she went to Red, which was really like her transition, and then she became this like pop queen that we all know and love. Like, she's just iconic, amazing. I'm so inspired by her. I love her so much, and it just felt like it would simply be a crime to not, you know, as a Swiftie and a booktuber, to not make a video where I give you book recommendations based on songs from Speak Now. So that is what we're gonna do today. I have quite a few songs that I'm going to give book recommendations for, and as we do it, I'm going to, you know, briefly describe the book, and then I'm going to pull up the lyrics and tell you which lyrics from the song I feel like relate to the book and why that is. I've put entirely too much thought into this, but I had a lot of fun with it, so I'm very excited. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it. So I think I'm just gonna start at the top of the track list and work our way down, so let's begin with the song Mine. For this song, I'm going to recommend the book The Summer We Fell by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is one of my new favorite books, definitely one of my favorites of 2023. This story basically follows this girl that grew up in this small beachside town, had a really rough upbringing, family situation, and she ends up befriending this boy that is the son of the town's pastor. And you know, the two of them grow closer, eventually start dating in high school, and his family actually ends up taking her in. So she goes to live with them, and she has these big dreams of being a singer, but she just knows that's not in the cards for her. She's just going to, you know, marry this boy, work in the church, be loyal to his family because they've given her everything. And so the two of them graduate from high school, and her boyfriend actually goes off to college. He has a football scholarship, so he goes to play football. She stays behind, you know, just in the small town, waiting tables. And while he is off at college, he ends up befriending this boy that is also on his football team that also happens to have a really rough family life. So pretty much the summers that, you know, they're in college together, this boy ends up coming home with him to spend the summers. And so that is where the boyfriend's best friend trope comes into this story. This guy and this girl meet, initially do not get along at all, but kind of like over time end up slowly growing closer. He's kind of the only person that really sees her and sees all of her potential and wants her to go after those dreams, you know, isn't holding her back. I just adored the guy in this story so much, and I just feel like Mine fits it so well. I'm just gonna read off so many of these lyrics that fit. First of all, you were in college, working part-time, waiting tables. This boy's in college, she's working part-time, waiting tables, literally. Left a small town, never looked back. Her boyfriend and him, you know, getting out of the small town, going off to college. I was a flight risk with a fear of falling, wondering why we bother with love if it never lasts. That is this girl. She had a really rough, you know, situation with her family, doesn't really believe in love in a lot of ways, just wants comfort, stability. And then the lyrics, do you remember we were sitting there by the water, you put your arm around me for the first time. This story takes place at the beach. I think you can kind of understand where I'm going with that. You saw me start to believe for the first time. You made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. So, I mean, she has to be very careful because she has had this rough upbringing and now she finally feels safe, and she doesn't really believe in herself, doesn't want to chase her dreams because she doesn't feel like she really deserves it. She just wants to kind of like, she feels like she's in debt to this family because they've given her so much. But he really, you know, pushes her to be the best version of herself and wants her to chase after those dreams and, you know, makes her start to believe. And brace myself for the goodbye, because that's all I've ever known. Then you took me by surprise. You said, I'll never leave you alone. And that's just, again, kind of echoing her whole past trauma with love and just feeling like nothing lasts and nobody's gonna care for her. But that is not the case in this story. I just think this song fits so well with this book, and seriously, if you have not yet read The Summer We Fell, you need to read it before summer is up because it is just so good. Okay, next is Sparks Fly, and I think that the recommendation I'm gonna give for this is gonna make some people laugh, and I understand why, because it just sounds absurd, but honestly, when you like look at the lyrics, I could not think about this book because like in context, it just fits so well. For Sparks Fly, I'm gonna go with, shocker, Credence by Penelope Douglas. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I literally don't care. I will defend this book until my dying day. It's very dark, it's very taboo, very just twisted and crazy. It's not gonna be for everyone, but it's for me. That's all I have to say about it. It's basically about this girl that grew up. She was the daughter of these two famous celebrities, and her parents suddenly pass away, and she's about 2 weeks or so, or a few weeks away from turning 18. Doesn't believe that she has any other family, but ends up getting a call from this man that she learns is her step uncle, essentially. He is her dad's much younger stepbrother. The two of them never really had a relationship, never really got along. She has never met this uncle of hers. They're not actually related, but he basically says, I know you're about to be 18. I'm not gonna like make you, you know, do anything, but I wanna let you know you're in California, I live out in Colorado in the mountains with my two sons. You are welcome to come and stay with us, you know, be a part of the family, whatever you'd like to do, or we're happy to have you. So this girl ends up going to stay with her not blood related uncle, not blood related cousins in this small cabin in this mountain town in Colorado where it gets snowed in 6 months out of the year, and a lot of things ensue. It's really crazy, but it's also very emotional. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but there's so many like life lessons in this book. I just adore it. I just recently reread it and I love it just as much as I did the first time. But anyways, the lyrics that I feel like fit with this book, give me with those green eyes, baby, as the lights go down, give me something that'll haunt me when you're not around. So if you've read this book, you'll know the green eyes and what that symbolizes, who that goes with. But give me something that'll haunt me when you're not around is just very much her entire situation at this house with these different men. My mind forgets to remind me you're a bad idea. You touch me once and it's really something. You'll find I'm even better than you imagined I would be. I'm on my guard for the rest of the world, but with you, I know it's no good. This entire thing is just so the main character of this book, because everything that's happening here is a bad idea. It's not okay. You know, you touch me once, it's really something. It's really something, I will say. But especially the line where it says, I'm on my guard for the rest of the world, but with you, I know it's no good. The girl in this story, she has had this very privileged life. Like, she grew up, again, with parents that were celebrities, and she's really had everything she's ever wanted, like materialistically, but she's never had anything that she's needed, which is just love and parents that care about her. She just doesn't know how to act around people. She's like an only child. She's always been just kind of like on her own. Her parents have never cared, never listened to her. So she has like these walls up and this guard, but right away, her uncle, her cousins are like, that's not how things work here. We live off the land. Like, we work together. We help each other out. Like, speak, tell me, like, what are you thinking? What's going on? Genuinely tell me what you're thinking. And it just like watching her like open up and bloom and blossom as she, you know, goes to live with these guys just really is everything. But just keep on keeping your eyes on me. It's just wrong enough to make it feel right. And lead me up the staircase. Won't you whisper soft and slow? I'm captivated by you, baby, like a fireworks show. Again, it's just wrong enough to make it feel right. I don't need to elaborate on that at this point, but just specifically this line of lead me up the staircase. Again, if you know, you know, there's a staircase in this book. Something's at the top of it that's very important to the story, and just she's captivated. The whole thing is a fireworks show. It's just so good. Like I said, this song just seems so funny to pair with like a super spicy, taboo, wild book, but it works. So I have already made it very clear that my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time is Back to December. So it really shouldn't be that shocking when I say that the book that I have to recommend to go along with it is one of my books, When Fate Breaks. This song, it's kind of funny. It's like the story was inspired on its own. This idea came to me. I was just so like passionate about it, wanted to write it, but I was listening to Back to December while I was writing it, and I realized how much the song kind of went with the book, and then from there it's like the song continued to inspire the book even more. So genuinely, every single lyric in this song fits this book so well to a point that it's like the anthem of When Fate Breaks. So if you are a Back to December girly, I really think you will enjoy my book, baby. This is a childhood friends to strangers to lovers story. It follows this boy named Blake and this girl named Annie that grew up together because their fathers were best friends. They would see each other, once or twice a year whenever Annie would go to visit her father's side of the family. And now we know, present day, they have not spoken in 6 years, and they are reuniting because Annie has just moved into a new home with her fiance, and there's this greenhouse in the backyard that is just falling apart, dilapidated. They're planning to tear it down, but she remembers that Blake is a total green thumb. He's just really into plants. He works in landscape design, and this is exactly the type of project that he can take on. So now Blake is coming to stay with Annie and her fiance to fix up this greenhouse for 2 weeks. And the story is told in alternating timelines of present and past. You're seeing what's happening now, all the present day tension, and then you're also jumping to the past, seeing slowly like their relationship build from when they're kids all the way up until like what sent them their separate ways. So that is the general gist of the story. Like I said, I feel like I can read every single lyric to Back to December, but I'm so glad you made time to see me. How's life? Tell me, how's your family? I haven't seen them in a while. Family grew up together, haven't seen each other in a while. We've been good, busier than ever, small talk, work and the weather. Your guard is up, and I know why, because the last time you saw me is still burned in the back of your mind. You gave me roses and I left them there to die. Yeah, they had a very rough, like, friendship, breakup, separation, whatever you want to call it. What sent the two of them their separate ways is pretty rough, and so there's a lot of tension and angst kind of present day. And then just the whole chorus. So this is me swallowing my pride, standing in front of you, saying I'm sorry for that night. Turns out freedom ain't nothing but missing you, wishing I realized what I had when you were mine. And then like the bridge, the I miss your tan skin, your sweet smile, so good to me, so right, and how you held me in your arms that September night, the first time you ever saw me cry. Maybe this is wishful thinking, probably mindless dreaming, but if we loved again, I swear I'd love you right. That entire bridge is just Blake and Annie to a T. Blake with the tan skin, the sweet smile, I just adore him. Obviously, I adore him, I wrote him, but yeah, again, I could read every single last lyric, but I think at this point, you get the gist. Back to December, girlies. Check out my little book, baby. Okay, next up, we have a song that is pretty iconic in the Taylor Swift fan base, Dear John. And I feel like I have a pretty perfect book to go along with this. The lyrics just match up so well. It's gotta be Balance by Lucia Franco. Honestly, the entire Off Balance series. If you're not aware, this is another spicy taboo book. I'm really just all over the place with what I'm offering you in this video, but this story is actually about a relationship between a gymnast and her coach. Major age gap, very taboo. He is her dad's very close friend, a business partner, just every forbidden thing you could possibly imagine to be in a story is in this. So just lyrics wise, and I lived in your chess game, but you changed the rules every day, wondering which version of you I might get on the phone tonight. That is very much the relationship between Adriana and Coach Kova, because it's, you know, it's a coach gymnast relationship, but obviously boundaries are crossed, lines they can't come back from, and both of them know that this relationship is wrong, but also neither of them can really fight it. So it's just like every single day, Adriana does not know what version of Kova she is going to get, and if he's going to be giving in to her or resisting her or chasing after her. Like, you just never know. And then obviously, don't you think I was too young to be messed with? The girl in the dress cried the whole way home. I should have known. Speaks for itself. Major age gap, you know, power dynamic, not good. Well, maybe it's me and my blind optimism to blame, or maybe it's you and your sick need to give love and then take it away. Again, just bouncing off of that, like, he just keeps like going back and forth with her and just like pushing her away, but then showing up to her house at midnight because he like can't stop thinking about her. Like, she just forever has emotional whiplash from this man. Like, it is a hot mess. This whole series is just drama after drama, back and forth, like just nonstop, and I simply never got tired of it. But this one I just really love. You are an expert at sorry and keeping the lines blurry, never impressed by me acing your tests. That is just so Kova. It's not even funny because, again, blurry lines, like, what are we? What do you want? Like, where is this thing going? You want me, you don't. We're just coach and gymnasts, or are we not? And then never impressed by me acing your test. He is the most difficult coach. He is so hard on her, so strict on her. She literally practices like 12 hours a day, is on the strictest like regimen of every type, and he's just, it's never enough for him. Like, he's pushing her to be her best nonstop, and she's trying to give that. She wants to go to the Olympics, and it's just, it's crazy. But it's a very good ride if you're into something a little bit off the walls. Check this one out. Okay, next we have Haunted, and again, I love this song so much. I have to go with Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino for this one. Another book that I discovered this year that I just simply have not stopped thinking about since the first time I read it. It follows this guy and this girl that go to NYU together. They end up meeting there because they live in the same dorm, actually right next to each other. And right away, they just hit it off, have this just amazing chemistry. They become very good friends, but neither one of them, you know, really wants to cross that line. They want to kind of stay where they are. They want to focus on school, whatever, but it's just clear these two are more than friends, and so you kind of see their relationship play out, and it's just like the most beautiful love story. Just like the banter between the two of them is just so like cozy, nostalgic. Butterflies, like rainbows, just reminded you of first love. But anyways, we know now, present day, clearly things did not work out between the two of these people. They both are still living in New York, but are living separate lives. They have not spoken in many years, so it is another one of those stories with alternating timelines. They are now reuniting present day and kind of like rehashing what went wrong, and you're seeing the past and seeing the present, seeing like both of their points of views. It was just so good. I loved it so much. But the way I feel it relates to Haunted is, you and I walk a fragile line. I've known it all this time, but I never thought I'd live to see it break. For me, the fragile line was the line between like friendship and more than friendship. Like, the two of them act like they're just friends, act like they're not anything more, like they don't want anything more, but it's like, you two are so madly in love with each other. Like, just simply shut up. It is so obvious that you are in love. Like, friends don't sleep over at friends' dorms and stay out all night, and just like, you are so in love. Just literally shut up. But you, as you're reading this story and seeing the past, you're just like, these two are so perfect for each other. What could have possibly made them, you know, split up? Like, what could have caused them to break? So I just feel like that fits really well. And then, oh, I'm holding my breath, won't lose you again, something's made your eyes go cold. So this to me is kind of like their reunion, and like when everything kind of comes out and the two of them realize what happened in the past. There's a lot that was left unsaid, some secrets that were held. So it's a very dramatic reunion, to say the least. And then kind of jumping back to the past again. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Something's gone terribly wrong. You're all I wanted. Can't breathe whenever you're gone. Can't turn back. Now I'm haunted. Again, just like in the past, when the two of them do split up, like I literally felt my heart like split in two, because their love story was just so epic. And you're like, truly, it felt like they could not breathe without each other. So it's it's a wild ride. Stood there and watched you walk away from everything we had, but I still mean every word I said to you. He will try to take away my pain and he just might make me smile, but the whole time I'm wishing he was you instead. So same sort of thing, you know, it's like they've gone their separate ways. They might try to numb their pain with other people, but it's like in the back of their mind, they have never stopped thinking about each other. Like at the end of the day, it's always gonna be them. Like it's always been you. It's very much that type of relationship between the two of them. And I just loved it so much. It was so good. It physically hurt my heart. I haven't honestly read a romance book that has hit for me since I read this one. Like it's just not the same anymore. I need to find something else that makes me feel this way, because this was just so good. Okay, for me, The Story of Us is simply no other book than Magnolia Parks. I know I talk about it all the time, but this is my favorite book universe, I think, ever. Just like my favorite series. It just means the world to me. I always say Jessa Hastings is an artist, and this series is her masterpiece. And the couple in this story, especially this main first story, Magnolia and BJ, they just fit this song so well. If you've never heard of this series, imagine like British Gossip Girl, these socialites that have grown up together going to the same, you know, fancy private boarding school. They're all very rich. They're like the kids of, you know, celebrities, socialites. Some of them are more involved in like the crime world, but they're all just like stupid rich, have no responsibilities, just party all the time, go on their yachts, go shopping. And there's just so much drama within this friend group, lots of like intertwining relationships, and it's just the greatest thing ever. So The Story of Us, the way that it relates to this book is that there is this main couple, Magnolia and BJ, that, you know, met growing up, and they have just always been like each other's from the very beginning. They just had this like very epic love story, just so in love with each other, but just also so toxic. Like their relationship is just so terrible. They love each other more than I feel like I've seen any two people love each other in a book, but they also treat each other so terribly. They were together, but then had this like really rough breakup, but then they just can't let each other go, and they still constantly come back to each other, and they're always around each other because they're a part of the same friend group. It's just very messy. So in this song, The Story of Us, it says, I used to think one day we'd tell the story of us, how we met, and the sparks flew instantly. People would say they're the lucky ones. So very much like Magnolia and BJ are like the it couple. Again, picture Gossip Girl, like they're the couple that Gossip Girl is talking about every day. Like people know them. They're almost like celebrity status. Magnolia and BJ are just it. And so people are, you know, gonna say they're the lucky ones telling their story, but alas, not so much anymore. I used to know my place was a spot next to you. Now I'm searching the room for an empty seat because lately I don't even know what page you're on. The two of them are constantly attending like social outings, events, not together, but they're both at the same ones. Again, they're hanging out with the same friend group, so they're constantly around each other, but it's just like not the same because there's just like this angst and this tension between them. Now I'm standing alone in a crowded room and we're not speaking, and I'm dying to know, is it killing you like it's killing me? Same sort of thing. Just so madly in love with each other, but also kind of like hate each other at the same time, just don't know how to communicate, don't know how to be together without just being so bad for each other. And then I'm starting to think one day I'll tell the story of us, how I was losing my mind when I saw you here, but you held your pride like you should have held me. Oh, I'm scared to see the ending. Why are we pretending this is nothing? I'd tell you I miss you, but I don't know how. I've never heard silence quite this loud. Same sort of thing, especially this, but you held your pride like you should have held me. That is so them. They are just so proud. They're constantly trying to like one up the other person, make the other person jealous, make them hurt the way that they've hurt each other. And it's like they need to just hold each other. Like, get over the pride, get over all of it, just like be together already. That's like what you're saying the entire book, but they just like can't do it. Like their relationship is just super toxic, and like, why are we pretending this is nothing? Clearly y'all are in love, so figure it out. And then really just like harping on it again. This is looking like a contest of who can act like they care less, but I liked it better when you were on my side. The battle's in your hands now, but I would lay my armor down if you'd say you'd rather love than fight. So many things that you wish I knew, but the story of us might be ending soon. So Magnolia and BJ, literally wrapped in a bow, that is them. I love them and hate them, but love them all the same. Like, it's just It's a crazy, crazy story. If you like the drama, if you like the Gossip Girl vibes, if you like the like rich socialite bougie, you know, kind of like theme nature, you'll love this book and love the series just as much as I do. Okay, next we have Enchanted, which is just one of the it songs on this album. And for me, I just have to think about Wes and Jamie from Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This book, the couple in this book, has to be my favorite book couple of all time. Like, I think about them all the time. Just every page of this book I devoured, I ate up. I've continued to think about it since. It is a hockey romance between two boys. It is an MM romance. So these two guys, Wes and Jamie, basically went to the same very elite hockey camp growing up. Every summer in Lake Placid, they would room together in the same cabin, see each other, and they were really good friends, and they, you know, grew up seeing each other every summer. They stayed in contact throughout the year. But now we know, present day, something happened the last summer that they went to this hockey camp, and the two of them have not spoken since. There was one night where things just went a little weird, and they haven't spoken. And now they are both about to graduate from college. They've been playing hockey in college, and both of them are now headed to the NHL, but they are returning to the same camp to now coach for the summer, and they're reuniting. So definitely like a friends to strangers to lovers story. Again, this book is like very spicy, but it is all about the emotions when it comes to this one. Like, the relationship between Wes and Jamie is just so intense. It's got like a bi-awakening aspect to it. Wes is like openly out and gay, but Jamie is not and never has been, but like Wes has been his best friend his whole life. Like, there's just so much to it. The two of them have so much history, and it's just the most beautiful story. I literally cannot recommend it enough. And if you're a hockey girly, this book has like a good amount of hockey in it. Like, it's my favorite hockey romance. I just adore it. But when it comes to Enchanted, I just feel that Wes is so enchanted by Jamie. He always has been. He's been in love with him for as long as he can remember, before he even really knew what that feeling was. Like, he knew that it's always been Jamie. Jamie is like the only guy, the dream guy. He's always been messing around with other guys, just hooking up, not going for anything real, because he doesn't feel anything real for anyone but Jamie. So when I like hear Enchanted, I just think of Wes, and I think about kind of like the night that they reunite in this story. So playful conversation starts, counter all your quick remarks, like passing notes in secrecy. That is so like Jamie and Wes's relationship. Like, they just have this like banter between the two of them. They're just so close. They've known each other for so long. Like, Wes is just such a like bad boy, goofball, doesn't really take anything seriously, and just Jamie just calls him out on all of it, can just like go toe to toe with him all the time, countering all his quick remarks. And then this whole verse. The lingering question kept me up. 2 a.m. Who do you love? I wonder till I'm wide awake. And now I'm pacing back and forth, wishing you were at my door. I'd open up and you would say, hey. That is so just like Wes spending so many nights like wondering, and Jamie as well, like, because the two of them did go their separate ways. Like, Wes has always just been like in love with Jamie, and just like, does he know I feel this way? Like, I wish he could feel this way about me, but he never will. And then Jamie's over here like, why did my best friend stop speaking to me? Like, what happened? Like, what's wrong? So the two of them, I just feel like, are just have so many sleepless nights just thinking about each other, and just wishing that the other one would reach out. And it's just so much wasted time. But this night is sparkling, don't you let it go. I'm wonderstruck, blushing all the way home. I'll spend forever wondering if you knew. Again, just like so in love and obsessed with each other. But Wes especially is just so like enamored and obsessed with Jamie that I just can see him saying all of those words. This is me praying that this was the very first page, not where the storyline ends. My thoughts will echo your name until I see you again. These are the words I held back as I was leaving too soon. And then just the whole, please don't be in love with someone. I just like want to scream it holding up this book. Please don't have somebody waiting on you. That is so just like them, you know, like Wes being like, is there any chance he could love me? Like, I just don't know. It's so perfect. It's just so them, this entire song. I just want to like blare it and reread this book. So if you can't tell, I really love this one. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Okay, and the last recommendation I'm going to give is based on the song Last Kiss, and it only makes sense for me to go with A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I sound like a broken record at this point, but this book is just one of my favorites of all time. I have never cried so much in my life reading a book. If you'd like that, fair warning. If you're not in the mood to cry, if you're not in a good mental state, maybe don't pick this one up. But it is just such a beautiful story. Like, it just is one of those where you sit there staring at the ceiling after you finish it, just like having a new appreciation for life, just wanting to fall in love, butterflies and rainbows. It's just so good. It is a YA friends to lovers story, once again, about this guy and this girl that live next door to each other, and they grow up, best of friends, grow closer over time, eventually start dating. Another like It's Always Been You kind of story. But the boy is from Norway. He actually moved to Georgia where they live from Norway for his father's job, but then once he gets into high school, his father actually has to go back to Norway for his job, so the two of them have to separate. It's totally heartbreaking. This all happens in the very beginning of the story, but the two of them promise to, of course, stay in contact. They've been best friends for the last decade. They're now boyfriend and girlfriend. They're gonna stay in touch and they'll be together again. Like, they just gotta get through high school. They'll figure it out. But once the guy leaves, for whatever reason, after a couple months, the girl just stops talking to him, completely cuts him off, and he has no idea why. But now, a couple years later, they're still in high school. I think it's their senior year at this point, and his family moves back. He actually gets transferred back to Georgia. So he's moving back in next door, the same house. The house never sold, and they're reuniting, and he's just like, he's turned into this like hardened bad boy version of himself because she like broke his heart in half, and he's just like hasn't been the same since. And he's just like, why did you stop talking to me? And when it all comes out and you understand why, it's just so heart-wrenching, so beautiful. But the reason it's called A Thousand Boy Kisses is because this girl's grandmother always talked about how, you know, you'll want to collect kisses in your life, and just love is the most important part of living. So she gives her this little jar at the very beginning of the book, and it's like, you need to collect 1,000 boy kisses throughout your life, and write on a little heart-shaped piece of paper, like every time a kiss makes you feel like your heart is gonna burst, like save that memory. So that's like what the whole jar and the kisses is for. But anyways, the lyrics that relate. The words that you whispered for just us to know. You told me you loved me, so why did you go away? That is so the two of them. Obviously, the guy in the story's name is Rune. Don't know why I haven't said that yet, but Rune and Poppy are their names. So that's definitely Rune just being like, Poppy, like you loved me. We were so in love. You said that we were gonna last to the end. Like, why? What happened? You know, like, why did you cut me off? And then all that I know is I don't know how to be something you miss. I never thought we'd have a last kiss. Never imagined we'd end like this. Your name, forever the name on my lips. So again, I like literally want to cry. The two of them shared a lot of kisses. Like, pretty much all of Poppy's boy kisses were from Rune. Thought, you know, they would all be from him. So it's just like, never thought we'd have a last kiss. Like, I just feel like that is so perfect for this book, and the song just makes so much sense. So I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep, and I feel you forget me like I used to feel you breathe. My heart. Like, how could you forget me after all we've been through? Like, we were supposed to stay together, but I guess now I'll just watch your life in pictures. And that's so perfect too, because Rune is like a photographer. Like, it just feels like it was made for them. Hope it's nice where you are, and I hope the sun shines and it's a beautiful day. Look, if you read the book, I'll just like let you interpret that on your own, but if you haven't yet read it, go read it. But yeah, guys, those are all the book recommendations I have for you today. Book recommendations based on songs from Speak Now. I am now going to go and listen to this album for the rest of the day. I just am not mentally prepared at the time that I'm filming this. It is not out yet, so I'm like counting down the minutes. But yeah, guys, if you've read any of these books, I would love to hear all your thoughts. If you have any other book suggestions for any of these songs, please tell me them down below, especially Back to December. I need it. Like, I need any book that remotely reminds you of that song. Please tell me down below. I would love to hear it. But yeah, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.